Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into the epic second winter 2024-25 update from GavsWeatherVids. So here we go again, trying to bring you more winter data. We're up to update number 2. We started our winter updates a week ago. Last Sunday we revealed the first winter update for 24-25. And in a week, that video has amassed over 5,000 video views. So thank you so much, everybody, for making the first winter update absolutely incredible in terms of its performance. I hope you all enjoyed it. But we're going to get on with your second update for you in a moment. Just say that first video today was our 6 UK weather forecast. We're going to be live at 5:30, 5:30 with the live stream today, and we will be discussing this second winter update. We'll do a 10 to 14 day, and of course we'll include some long range in that. It's a Sunday live stream, so that's all to come at 5:30. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because we've got this epic second winter update to do for you right now, and I shall get on with it for you any second. Just say thank you so much to Richard for our amazing winter updates gift. I love it. Thank you so much, Rich. Which is going to be beginning his holiday later on today. So thank you so much, Rich, for the gift. And for the outside of the box presentation on the first winter update as well, my friend. Thank you so much. And you enjoy your holiday, Rich. Put your feet up and have a rest. Thank you so much to Shrine as well, Shrine Brewing, for all of the help on this second update. When we get to the sections which Shrine has helped with, we're going to start off actually with some Shrine data in a moment. When we get to those sections, I will shout Shrine out. Of course I will. Hashtag Team Gav. Always doing an incredible job for us. Thank you so much to Richard Shaw and also to Shrine Brewer. Okay, well, this second update is going to pick up exactly where we left off with the first update. And so let's do that for you. Let's move over to here. So you'll remember where we left off with the first update was looking at a possibility anyway of a 14-year cycle of colder winters, because if you go back 14 years from 2024, what year do you arrive at? You arrive at 2010, and that's slap bang in the middle of a series of colder winters that began with 08-09 and ended with 12-13. And then you go further back from that, we do see this cycle to some degree anyway. So, Shrine did a table for us. There was a little mistake on the first update with the table that we have for you. That has been corrected with this table. So, there's 2010, of course, there, 14 years from 2024. If we go back another 14 years from 2010, we come to 1996. If we go back another 14 years from 1996 to 1980. We come to 1982, another 14 years from that, we come back to 1968, and then finally, far back as we go to with our analogues, is to 1950. So the next 14 years after 1968 is 1954. So 1954, then 40 years on to 1968, then 14 years on to 1982, then 4 years on to 1996, and finally 14 years on to 2010, and an ultimate finally to 2024, which of course would be up here. Right, so Shrine has put in BCTs for those medium winters, which is 09-10, 95-96, 81-82, 1967, 1968, and 1953-1954, and they are colour shaded, so you can see that the first 3 of those were all significantly colder than average, most notably 09-10, but also 95-96 was a cold winter, which a lot of people have forgotten about in the middle of the 1990s, and 81-82, of course, was ferociously cold in December and had a big January freeze up as well. Did get a bit milder into February, but overall was a cold winter. And after that, well, 67-68 wasn't quite as cold, but nevertheless, it did still have its moments, especially through January and February, particularly February. And then we've also got 53-54 down here, which was mild through the early part of winter, but did end up with a cold February in 1954. 54. Looks pretty reliable, that I have to say. Shrine also added in the preceding winters, because you're never quite sure where you are within this 24-year cycle, this 40-year cycle, I should say. So we've got 08, 09, 94, 95, 80, 81, 96, 97, and 52, 53. And the succeeding winter as well, which is 2010, 2011, 96, 97, 82, 83, 68, 69, and 54, 55 as well. Quite a lot of cold winters standing out there. Due average, quite a lot of cold. Only one you'll notice that's above average, which is 1966, 1967. Quite interesting. I mean, there might be a little bit of confusion though with this. But we're saying every winter, that's cold has to fit in with the 14-year cycle, which is not the case. There's cycles within cycles within cycles. For example, there's also like a potential for a 16-year cycle of cold winters, and that would overlap, I guess, with 14-year cycles a little bit. And there's also, of course, the hail or the Halley cycle, which is like a 22 or 23-year cycle of cold winter. So, we're not saying that only cold winters can occur around this 14-year window, around this 14-year period. There's cycles within cycles within cycles within cycles within the weather. And, we're just looking at this for fun, really, and we'll see how it works out when we get to the winter, of course. The possibility, anyway, that there's a 14-year cycle. Anyway, let's have a look at those median winters. So the first one we start off with is 2009, 2010, 09, 10, 14 years ago, has a blocking signal around Greenland and Iceland, and it sends the jet stream southwards into the western Europe. The jet stream goes southwards as well, and potentially we pull in cold air from the north and from the east. That was a genuinely very cold winter that occurred there. 09, 10 was the coldest overall winter, I believe, since 1978, 1979, and for Scotland was the coldest winter since Daddy since 1963. Unbelievable. 14 years back from that, we go to 95, 96. This also is a cold winter, more of a Scandinavian high-type winter with easterlies coming and going. This one, low pressure again to south, winds coming in from the east. So a very easterly winter in 95, 96. And cold was on and off, it wasn't continuously cold. There was reprieve and periods of milder weather as well. But overall, that was a cold winter that occurred in the middle of the 1990s. So a little bit of a forgotten winter as well, I think now, maybe. And then 14 years back from that, we've got 81, 82. So this one has blocking around Greenland and low pressure in the Atlantic. The analog itself doesn't look that impressive, but of course it has a mild February, which offsets, the earlier part of winter. But when this winter is on, boy, it really is on in December and also through that second week of January, which has a tremendous freeze up and snowstorm as well. And then we've got 67, 68. This one has a mild start to the winter, but gets colder as we go along, with a cold February in particular. Trough of low pressure over northern Europe, blocking area of high pressure in the Atlantic. Quite a northerly winter, this one. Regular northerly cold snaps coming and going. And then finally, we've got 1953. 1954, that in the browser there is wrong. That needs changing over. We always go, whatever the browser says, we always go with the date here. Always go with the date. So this is December 1953 to January and February 1954. And this one starts off mild again in December. That has low pressure down here overall. And this one's more easterly again, with high pressure towards Scandinavia, winds in from the east. So after a mild December, gets colder as we go through winter and does have a cold February once more. So putting most together, this is how all December's combined, looking with this possible 14-year cycle of cooler or colder winters. Pretty epic analog, if you want a cold December. Blocking around Greenland and Iceland, low pressure down to the south, winds coming in from an easterly or a northeasterly direction. That looks like a pretty cold and wintry December to me. All January's combined, also quite epic. High pressure again, blocking around Greenland and Iceland, low pressure with down to south winds there again. Looks set to be coming in from the east. All February's combined, not quite as epic, but the blocking signal is still there. We do see this strong blocking signal up towards Greenland. Low pressure's a bit further northwards with some of these February. I would suspect what's happening in particular in 1982 might be skewing this. But bear in mind, we've also got 68 and 54, which are cold Februaries. 96 was a pretty cold February as well. And 2010 wasn't as cold as like that period from the middle of December to the middle of January in that winter, but nevertheless did still have cold snaps. So overall, you know, we still favour blocking signal. Overall, we still favour the potential for a cold or cold periods in February, maybe a cold February too. All winters combined with this possible 14-year cycle of cold winters. Looks like that. Big blocking area of high pressure, real eye candy. The cold is blocking area of high pressure around Greenland. Low pressure to the south, winds coming in from the east. Looks pretty epic, and that's particularly so, of course, for December and January. But what about if we put it all together? What about if we... So those were the medium winters, 09, 10, 95, 96, 81, 82, 67, 68, 53, 54. But what about if we add in the preceding winters into the mix as well, which is 08, 09, 94, 95, 80, 81, 96, 97, and 52, 53. And not only that, but we put the succeeding winters into the mix as well, which is 2010, 2011, 96, 97, 82, 83, 68, 69, and 53, 54. What about if everything is added in together? How do the analogues come out then? Bear in mind, we have got one winter that is really very mild, which is 66, 67. Well, this is how it ends up looking with everything added from the table. So this is all December's combined with all of those years put together. And again, looks pretty epic. Despite that mild winter that we have it for 66, 67, overall, the analogue is still pretty epic, with plenty of high pressure blocking in the North Atlantic, low pressure through the Northwest Europe, winds tend to be in from an easterly or a northeasterly direction, cold, wintry December. But it gets more epic actually for January. Check this out, high pressure blocking in the North Atlantic and going up to Greenland as well. What an analogue that is, goodness gracious me. With low pressure down to the south and winds could be coming in from the east. Could we be favouring a cold January there a lot of the time? And then all February's combined with everything from the table, you know, all years together, the preceding, median and succeeding winters, we still see that trough of low pressure rising a bit further northwards, but at the same time, there's still a very strong blocking signal around Greenland and, you know, in the North Atlantic as well. So it's a little bit more touch and go, I think, for February. But overall, if we put all years together, put everything together, and, you know, this is how we come out for this possible 14-year of cold winters, for all winters combined, all of them together, and it looks epic. I have to say, if you want a cold winter, that's as good as it gets. High pressure blocking in the North Atlantic with low pressure across the Northwest Europe and down here, jet stream down there as well, and winds in from the east. A cold winter is favoured every 14 years roughly. There, back to 1950. Blimey, I don't know, what a start to the second winter update. That was pretty epic, wasn't it? Man, that's just for fun, though. Really. But I do believe in, like, cycles within cycles within cycles as well. So, we'll see, you know, we'll see. It's food for thought. Anyway, isn't it? Well, that starts us off with a second winter update. Gets off to an epic start. I'm going to pause the video there, and when we come back, we're going to be looking at the QBO, the quasi-biennial oscillation. That's going to be interesting. So I shall see you in a moment. But you, like, go and get yourself a cup of tea, maybe a couple of biscuits, something like that, and digest what you just witnessed. One of the best analog packages we've ever produced, except maybe the Teaser Winter analog package for a couple of years ago, but I better get into that again. I'll get myself into trouble. No, you go off and get some cup of tea, a couple of biscuits, and I'll see you in 1 second with the resumption of the second winter 2024-25 update. See you soon. Okay, we're back and we're ready to resume the epic, hopefully, second winter 2024-25 update from GavsWeatherVids. If you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, and for coldest, I think the first section of this video was pretty epic, then please like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much everyone for doing that. Thank you to Shryan, by the way, for getting all of those analog years and the table together for us. Thank you so much, Shryan. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much, my friend. Right, and thanks to Rich for the gift. Right, let's crack on then. I'm going to start this second section of a second update of QBO, because IBN oscillation. This is from NASA, and it's depicting the levels of the atmosphere all the way from the top of the atmosphere, stratosphere, 10 HPA, down to the troposphere, the boundary level of the atmosphere, but we call the troposphere 30 to 50 HPA. So the blue-green area is the last easterly phase of the quasi-binary oscillation, QBO, descending from the troposphere down, descending from the stratosphere down to the troposphere. Get your trop mixed up, Gav. Oh dear. No, that's I do know. That's the stratosphere PR, and that's the troposphere just there. And that's the eastern QBO, the last eastern QBO phase descending from the strat to the trop. Well, this sandy brown area just here is the current westerly phase of the QBO. Check that out, descending again from the strat into the troposphere. So we have got the latest QBO number in for last month, for August. Let's come down through the years. This is from NOAA, of course. Oh, we see what happens at the beginning of 2024, just there, which we start off, as we've just explained, with an easterly QBO, strong easterly QBO phase. Look at these very negative numbers that we have here. But through the summer, the easterly QBO faded out in reverse. So for August, QBO number comes in at plus 6.91. No, it doesn't match July. No, for August, the QBO number comes in at plus 8.61. Just there. So that, of course, plus 6.91. In July's QBO number, September's number will be placed there. October's there, November's there, December's there. And I would expect this westerly QBO to be getting stronger, as we go along. So we definitely see like a strengthening of the westerly QBO there with that positive 8.61 number. And as I say, I would suspect next month we'll see that becoming a little bit stronger as well. It'll be interesting how strong this gets as we go into winter. Obviously, this will be a westerly QBO winter, no doubt about that, but it'll be interesting whether we ramp this up to like a very positive westerly QBO, or if we keep it sort of as a moderate westerly QBO, such as we've got at the moment. But when you look at the QBO, it's mainly a winter drive, and it's quite interesting. So when you're in an eastern QBO phase, you kind of weaken the zonal westerlies in the northern hemisphere. So it's basically a way of depicting how strong the zonal westerlies are going to be in the northern hemisphere. So in an eastern QBO, zonal westerlies are a little bit weaker, and therefore you would assume there's an increased chance of like blocking, areas high pressure in high latitudes and a cold winter. Whereas in a westerly QBO, you kind of strengthen the zonal westerlies a little bit. And so you would assume, again, that a westerly QBO coincides with a milder, more westerly Atlantic winter. However, it's never as simple as that. Nothing in the weather ever is. There have been many easterly QBO winters that have been mild. For example, we've got 2014, 2015 just here, being negative numbers she's there. All mild, really, through the winter 2014-15, or certainly no colder than average anyway. And we also have 2021-2022, which is a strong easterly QBO winter, and again, that one was a mild winter as well. There have been cold westerly QBO winters as well. So 2010-2011 is one of those, but December to remember had a westerly QBO with a number there of plus 10.97, I think that is. So, but nevertheless, we still have really strong amounts of blocking through December 2010. It was the December to remember, and it coincided with a westerly QBO. So nothing in the weather is ever that simple, that straightforward. If only it was, it would make my life much easier. But it's one of the big drivers of the weather that we look at in the winter updates. Talking of another driver, we've got the Arctic Oscillation observed and forecast just here. So the black line shows where we've been with the Arctic Oscillation, red lines at the end where the GFS ensembles are forecasting the Arctic Oscillation to go. We are currently on the positive side with the AO, currently in positive territory. However, the red lines of GFS ensembles are forecasting the AO to go negative, actually, as we go further on through the middle and into second half of September. Remember, it's always the weather that drives the index, so if the AO is going negative there after a positive start, that tells us, but at the moment we've got quite a bit of a low pressure over the Arctic North-Pole, but by the middle of September, the second half of the month, we are likely to see more in the way of blocking. It would be the blocking areas of high pressure that drive the AO into negative territory there. The NAO looks like this. Again, we're positive with the North Atlantic Oscillation at the moment, but GFS ensembles are forecasting the NAO to start shifting into a neutral to more negative phase, actually going negative and then staying around neutral to negative as we go through the into the middle and second half of September as well. So both indexes on the move tells us that there could be a pattern change on the way, and that might be something you know, depending on where the blocking sets up, that might be something a little bit colder, maybe, but we'll keep you posted on that. Going to have more on the AOB and NEO later in the video, actually, so stick around for that. Moving up to the stratospheric level, so this is how things are currently looking in terms of the temperature at 10 HK. First time you've seen this over the North Pole in the stratosphere. The grey line is the trend line, the black line is the current temperature for this season. At the moment, we're bang on average, as we normally are this early in the season, somewhere around minus 45 there. Go a little bit lower down to 30 HPA, which of course is closer to the troposphere. That's quite interesting. There we see that actually we're a little bit warmer than average at 30 HPA, somewhere around minus 47 or minus 48 degrees. How things predicted to develop over the next couple of weeks. This is from the latest GFS run. And again, we don't see much sign of a polar vortex at the moment. It's just very early on in the season, but we're looking to see the blue colours deepening and expanding out. That will tell us the polar vortex at its roots in the stratosphere, 10 HPA, is getting going. And over the next week, that's what we see. Notice those deepening blue colours there. So temperatures becoming colder. And I'd say that is the polar vortex at its roots in the stratosphere, being depicted by this GFS run. And as we go through the next couple of weeks, well, those blues get deeper, those blue colours get deeper, so the temperature gets colder, essentially, and the PV at its roots expands out. So the beginnings of this season's polar vortex underway there. Let's go even further up into the atmosphere, shall we? And so what have I done in here? Hold on, everyone. Right, we'll go there. Okay, yeah. So let's go even further up into the atmosphere. In fact, we're going to go beyond the atmosphere into space. So this episode of this is currently looking on our side of this day from sunham.net. We see various sunspot areas, these black spots just here, all over the place, very spotty sun on our side of this, telling us that sun activity is at moderate levels and is expected to remain at moderate levels, as we see here on the solar report, which I don't normally show you, but as I accidentally led to this page, why not? So that is the solar report that you get from Solarham, a nice, you know, nice write-up that's updated quite frequently, every other day or so. I think they update that maybe every day even. So yeah, we're at moderate levels and expecting to remain at moderate levels too. This is the GavsWeatherVids second winter 2024-25 update solar tracker sent through by Schreier. I good friend Schreier Broom sent this one through. The orange line and orange spots depicting each individual day's worth of sunspot and solar activity activity. Now, of course, we have really been seeing some quite active levels of solar activity. As we explained in last week's first winter update, we are very close to solar maximum at the moment. Actually, we have seen a little bit of a backup. So although we are at moderate levels with solar activity, you see from the orange spots just here clustering at that sort of level, we are a little bit lower than we was back in August, for example. Nevertheless, the trend lines are still moving upwards, the thick green and thick blue lines. So the thick green line is 30-day average, that's still at a pretty high level, and the thick blue line is actually still increasing as well. You see how solar activity has developed from like September 2022 and down here to where we are right now. Clearly, we are in the active phase of this solar cycle, number 25, at the moment. And we have actually had our most active month of the solar cycle so far. So this is the solar cycles by season, by monthly sunspot progression comparison, I should say, for 23, 24, 25. So solar cycle 23 ran from 1996 to 2008 just here. Solar cycle 24, the last solar cycle, went from 2008 to 2019. Very weak solar cycle, that one. And the current solar cycle, number 25, is just here. So the latest monthly sunspot number, I think, is for August, just there. And notice the most active month of the solar cycle so far. And as we explained last week, let's see if I can draw a straight line. Might not be able to, but if I can, look how we're kind of on a par now with the monthly sunspot numbers that we were getting during solar cycle 23. We was expecting that this solar cycle would be around here for the monthly sunspot numbers, would be very similar, very close to solar cycle 24, but actually it's turned out to be a much more active solar cycle. And as I say, over the past few months, particularly the spring and summer of 2024, the monthly sunspot returns have been getting close to, a little bit under, but close to the kind of levels that we were at in the much more active solar cycle of number 23. So this is turning out to be a more active solar cycle than we expected, and it's turning out, to be quite a strong solar cycle, really, rather surprisingly, perhaps. I think we will be weaker overall, though, than 23 was. Notice many of the the green spots are around here, so although we have had quite a big ramp up recently, we are probably about at solar maximum. We aren't seeing as consistently higher number of sunspots as in that level as we did solar cycle 23. So I think when we average it all out, this solar cycle will still be somewhere between 23 and 24, albeit probably closer to 23 than 24, though. We'll keep monitoring solar activity as we always do, and of course later on in the winter updates we will have our reanalysis for winters around solar maximums and whatnot, and you'll see those winters and years picked out by the amazing Terry. So Scully will pick those out for us. That'll be later on in the winter update. So, right, we're going to pause the video there, and when we come back, we're going to look at oceans data and see what's happened over the past week with La Nina and, the oceans and all of that stuff as well. So, come back for part 3 of the second winter 2024-25 update in a moment. I should pause the video there, and I'll see you soon. Okay, we're back and we're ready to resume the third and final part of the epic second winter 2024-25 updates from GavsWeatherVids. So if you've enjoyed the update so far, please you like, share and subscribe. Thank you so everyone for doing that. And thank you so much to the amazing Richard Short for our winter updates gear. Thank you so much to Shryan for all of the solar data that we left off the second part of the second update with a moment ago. Just to say that if you enjoy our content on the channel, both the long range, short range, medium range, all of the stuff that we do along with the live streams as well, please can you consider supporting the channel. There are various ways you can do that, so subscribing to our channel will help to support the channel, you know, and watching me advertisements as well. We are very close to 18.7k subscribers, so thank you so much to our amazing 18,000 plus subscribers. We're trying to get to 19k, so thank you so much to all of the wonderful subscribers. Well, you can become a channel member if you want to go a bit further, supporting the channel financially. You can become a channel member by clicking the join button. Take you to here, and you can see what benefits and perks you get for becoming a channel member. You get a once-a-month channel member live stream, access to the NEO forecast for the coming winter, advanced access, I should say, and also you will get loyalty badges and emojis as well, and you get all of that £4.99 a month by becoming a GavsWeatherVids channel member. You will be helping to support our channel. You can super chat and super thanks on the videos live streams as well. So super chat is on the live stream. Super thanks, you can do that by clicking the three little dots there. It will take you to the thanks button. You click that and you can give a donation to GavsWeatherVids. Get your teeth in, Gav, and you will have your comment flagged up. Super chat works by flagging up your comment on the live streams that we do on a Wednesday and on a Sunday. Of course, there's the ever reliable PayPal as well, so you find a link to our PayPal page in the description with this video. Sign into your PayPal account and you can donate whatever sum you would like to GavsWeatherVids, and we'll give you a shout out in the videos if you would like to. So thank you so much for doing that. It does help to support the channel, and you know, pays me to be able to sit here and do this for everyone. So thank you so much everyone for doing that. Right, okay, well, let's crack on with the third and final part of the Epic second winter update. We're going to look at oceans data, as I said when I signed off on the second part of the update a moment ago. So we've got our four interest areas. We've got the ENSO region just here. We've got the northern and the northeastern Pacific around here. We've got the Indian Ocean over there. I've got the North Atlantic Ocean through here. That's how the oceans were looking when we did last week's first update. This is the latest. Here we go then. So as far as the ENSO region is concerned, I think we have seen a slight strengthening in the La Nina signature over here in the eastern portion of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. It does look as though the sea surface temperature has gone a little bit colder through there, so it might be starting to shape up to be a classic easterly QBO, easterly La Nina, I should say, winter over here in the eastern portion of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. But all regions of the ENSO region, all regions of the equatorial Pacific Ocean from Peru just there to India and Indonesia just here, looking rather cool now. So we're like neutral in the central portion, but we haven't yet reached true La Nina threshold there. But I think we are seeing signs of the La Nina developing and gathering pace and deepening in the eastern portion. Going northwards into the northern Pacific, well, still pretty warm around here, but perhaps a bit of cooling has occurred around there, and maybe a little bit through there. Let's go back to last week. So yeah, I think definitely like in the far northeastern corner just here, we have seen a little bit of cooling over the past week. And then in the Indian Ocean over here, again, that's how things were looking last week. We're over here now, everyone. That's how things were looking last week. This is how things are looking this week. Very little change, actually, over in the Indian Ocean. And finally, in the Atlantic Ocean, how were things looking there? So just generally quite warm through most portions of the Atlantic Ocean, as they tend to be in recent years. That's how things are looking now as of 6th of September. And again, particularly warm through here and down here as well. Maybe a little bit cooler through there, and possibly just south of Greenland, which would be associated with Arctic Sea ice melt. If we have a look at the 7-day change, well, this could be looking a little bit tripole-esque in the Atlantic. So warmer up here, cooler though through here. And then, what's happened there? Get rid of that and do it again. So, warmer up here. That was a diamond, wasn't it? Warmer up here, cooler through there, and then warmer maybe down here. That could be a little bit tripod edge, but obviously it's only a 7-day change, so we will want to see that sustained and developed over the over the next few weeks and months and whatnot. It has been, as I said, quite significant quite significant cooling in the northeastern portion of the northern Pacific there. So that confirms what I said a moment ago. And then in the ENSO region, well, varying from area to area, but I think we have cool things in this eastern portion a little bit. And most parts of the Indian Ocean over the past 7 days have tended to warm slightly. Southern Oscillation Index, which is an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state in the southern Pacific Ocean, measuring air pressure between Tahiti and Darwin, is looking like this. So when the SOI is in a negative phase, then the atmospheric setup will be reflective of El Nino. When the SOI is in a positive phase, the atmospheric setup will be reflective of La Nina. As we explained last week, what has happened through this summer is that the atmosphere has been fighting with the oceans. So if we go back, and we have to go right way down to the bottom of the table now. If we go back to like the 9th and the 10th of August, we can still see very negative numbers on the table. And that is when the atmospheric setup is reflective of an El Nino type state. But through August, we saw a definitive, or what looked like a definitive shift into a La Nina type atmospheric setup with positive numbers of the SOI. So the 31st of August we got plus 22, 1st September we got plus 21, 2nd of September we got plus 9, 3rd of September we got plus 4, 4th of September we got plus 5, 5th of September we got plus 7, 6th of September we got plus 1. The latest number there has actually gone slightly negative to minus 5. So for the 7th of September, and you will get day-to-day variations, of course. For the 7th of September, the atmospheric setup was more reflective of El Nino, actually. But it looks like a pretty definitive shift from the atmosphere during August into a La Nina type setup. And that was enough to lift the 30-day SY average from a negative minus 10 to a much more positive near plus 10 recently. And you'll notice even the 90-day average, the yellow dash line, which doesn't move anywhere near as much as the 30-day average, but that is also on the move a little bit as well, and has gone from negative to very slightly positive territory. And if the positivity of the SOI is maintained, that we've seen through most of August, if that's maintained through September, we will see that 90-day average moving just a little bit more. So it looks as though La Nina is developing. Indian Ocean Dipole is looking like this. Didn't really touch on this last week, but I did want to include it for this second update. So the IOD is in a neutral phase at the moment. This is from the Bureau of Meteorology. So if you have a positive IOD, the temperature anomaly is going to be at 0.4 degrees or more above average. For a negative, a cold IOD, the anomaly, the sea surface temperature anomaly in the Indian Ocean will be 0.4 degrees or more colder than average. Well, we're currently about here, so we're about 0.0. We're about average. It looks as though the IOD, going to be going on to the cold side of neutral over the coming months. Each green spot there is 1 month's sea surface temperature anomaly. So, for example, that's October, that's November, that's December, that's January, and that's February. So for a while, as we go into the latter stage of the autumn, into the beginning of the winter, the IOD looks like it's on the cold side of neutral, but still within neutral territory generally, and then rising back, to be bang on neutral by the latter stage of winter. So it doesn't look like, from an IOD perspective, that's going to be much of a player through this winter. It looks like it'll be a neutral IOD winter, possibly on the colder side. That's what the IOD probabilities are showing, by the way. So for September, there is a 100% probability of a neutral IOD, and 0 for below or above average of the Indian Ocean dipole. In October, that just does change a little bit, but still strongly favoured to be neutral at 76%, and that continues into November as well at 73%, and December at 72%, and even more strongly so to January at 85%, and February at 84%. But it looks like there's no chance of a warm IOD for this winter, though that's something that we had in 2019-2020, the polar vortex of Doom, which had a very strongly positive IOD during that winter, and there was some speculation that the polar vortex of Doom was perhaps at least partly caused by the very strongly positive IOD that we had through the autumn and early winter, anyway, of 2019-2020. It looks like there's no chance of that for this winter. There is a chance, there's a possibility or probability that we might get a colder than average IOD, but, you know, not particularly strongly favoured. So for October, 20%, 24% for November, 26% for December, and then fading back to 10%, 4% for January and February. This looks like it's going to be a neutral IOD winter, albeit perhaps slightly on the colder side. We'll keep you posted, though. Things can change. So that's just how things are looking at the moment. 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. Next, this is from Wikipedia. These are the latest scores on the doors. No change from last week. So far for this season, we have 5 tropical depressions, 5 tropical storms, 3 hurricanes, and 1 major category 3 or above hurricane. We have got the ACE updated for us. ACE Master Shryan has got our ACE page updated for us this week. So with ACE, remember, accumulated cyclone energy is a way of measuring how much each individual storm, the energy that those storms are giving, and then creating an overall seasonal accumulated cyclone energy number. So the classifications are below normal, near normal, above average, hyperactive. We can go back to the 1850s with this, but we won't go that far back. We're interested, of course, is 2024. So far, our ACE for the 2024 Atlantic tropical storm and hurricane season is running at 5510. 5510 is the current ACE number. That is after 5 storms, 3 hurricanes, and 1 category 3 or above major hurricane. Now, at this point of the season, you would normally expect ACE to be coming in at around 5110, so we're not far away actually from average. Actually a little bit stronger with our ACE than you would expect, but you would have expected more tropical storms by this point. So you would normally have expected 8 tropical storms. We've had 5. You would normally have expected 3 hurricanes. We've had 3, and you'd normally have expected 1 major, and we have had 1 major. So obviously the tropical storms we've had, although we've had fewer tropical storms than you would expect, we've had 5 rather than 8. Obviously those tropical storms have possibly been a little bit stronger to make up, than you'd expect, to make up the difference. So as I say, the ACE number overall is 5510, and you would expect to be having an ACE number of 5110 at this point. Obviously if we were to stay at 5510, then we would have our first below average hurricane season for accumulated cyclone energy since 2015. That was the last time we see the Blues there have a below normal season. So it will be interesting to see how things develop. I'm still expecting a pretty big season, I have to say, but we'll wait and see what happens. So far, things aren't really getting going. It's a slow old start. Thank you so much, ACE Master Shryan, for that. You'll be seeing the ACE page updated every week. Right, Arctic sea ice and Eurasian snow cover. There's been pretty good bits, hasn't it? Just got a little bit more to show you than we've done. Been a long video. Epic again. Thank you so much, everyone, for sticking with it. Right, so this is how things look in terms of Eurasian snow cover. Last week, not much happening, but a few little white patches here over in the far eastern portion of Siberia. This is the latest, and no development, in terms of snow cover over the past week. In fact, we possibly have lost a few of those white patches there. So it's very, very early in the season. Eventually, this whole area, Siberia, Russia, and even into Eastern Europe, will fill up with snow by the time we get through to December. And how quickly that happens, we'll be monitoring that on a week-by-week basis. It becomes particularly pivotal when we get into October and November as well. We also keep an eye on what's happening over Scandinavia. There's not been any sort of gains in snow cover either. Going northwards into the Arctic, so of course the yellow area is Arctic sea ice just here, and the blue areas around there are where the ice has melted. That's how things are currently looking in terms of the ice extent from National Snow and Ice Data Centre. So again, let's put in our long-term averages compared to the most recent 10-year average, 2011 to 2020. This is how we're looking. So we are slightly under our recent long-term 10-year average there. 2001 to 2010, we're significantly under that 10-year average. 91 to 2020, we're even more under, and 79 to 1990, we're even more under that year as well. I went through all of the years last year, so I won't do that again, but the record minimum year, how are we doing compared to that? So that's the red dash line, 2012, and we are not going to have like a record minimum Arctic surface extent this year, 2012, with the record minimum year. Looks like it's safe for another year. We are still dropping, so we've got about another week of melting to go, probably. And then we'll gradually see that blue line leveling off and beginning to tick back up as the refreeze starts to get underway. Unless something very shocking and dramatic happens, that blue line did a bungee jump and went down like that. It looks like we're going to avoid the record minimum that we had in 2012. But it is another very big Arctic melt season. Don't get me wrong, just but 2012 looks like it's safe for another year in terms of being the record minimum year, but we'll have more about that for you again next week. The last thing I want to leave you with this update is something that we've never looked at before. Go back to the Arctic oscillation. This is from Kyle M.A. Critchie, /meteorology/AO.php. And check this out. This is a long-range forecast for the Arctic oscillation based on the CFSB2. So, as I said, we've never looked at this before, never included this within our videos, either long range, short range, etc., 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 but we will be keeping a close eye on this throughout the season of winter updates. So, the CFSB2 is forecast. Remember, we explained at the moment the AO is actually in a positive territory, but CFSB2 by middle of September is forecasting the Arctic oscillation start shifting into negative territory, and then possibly stays in negative territory. Dates in monthly periods on the bottom of the chart, possibly stays generally negative throughout the remainder of the autumn. We do actually get to the beginning of winter 24-25 with this, to the beginning of December, which is why I wanted to include it this week. And again, notice from this grey area that although there is a little bit of up and down going on, as you expect, and like early November, it looks like we shift back close to neutral conditions with the AO. But overall, it looks like the CFS, anyway, the long-range model, is forecasting the Arctic oscillation to be in a long-term negative phase from about the middle of September onwards, which would tell us that this autumn it is likely to have quite a considerable amount of northern blocking, and that might last into the beginning of winter. But of course, the further out you go, the more unreliable it becomes. How about the NAO? Well, how's that looking in terms of the long-range prediction? So again, we explained earlier in the video that we are currently slightly weekly positive with the NAO forecast to go a little bit negative, and then be just quite close to neutral really with the with the NAO. So not as negative with the NAO signature over the next few months. Again, we can get into December with this. It looks like we do go rather negative with the NAO there late September into early October. Then we're into weekly positive condition through most of October. Then into November, maybe going weekly negative again. And then possibly beyond that, we lose a signal a little bit, but probably quite close to neutral conditions. So out of the two indexes, it looks like it's the AO, but it's more set toward negativity, less so for the LEO. But the LEO doesn't look especially positive there, I have to say. Though if we were to get a neutral LEO with a negative AO, depending on where the blocking was to be sitting, of course, and that's always been critical factor where the blocking area is high pressure sitting over the North Pole. But, you know, it's interesting anyway. We might be in for a rather cooler autumn here than certainly I have predicted with GavsWeatherVids autumn forecast. And a lot of people were expecting if we do get that long-term shift into a negative AO that we see there throughout this autumn being predicted by the CFS. Remember, it is the CFS, so it's an unreliable model. The best of times. But anyway, we'll keep you posted on that. We've never shown those charts before. And we will be showing those in the winter update. Probably not every week, but we will be showing them relatively regularly through this season of winter updates. Right, we're done. So if you've enjoyed this epic second winter update, nearly at 50 minutes, then please do like, share, and subscribe. And thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Remember, we are so close now. I think we're going to put around 4 or 5 subscribers to get to 18.7k. So if you could give us a sub and tell your friends and family about the unique content that we're producing at GavsWeatherVids, that will be absolutely epic and amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so to Richard for our winter updates gift. I love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much, Rich. You put your feet up now for the next couple of weeks, my friend. And also thank you so much to Shryan Bruin as well for all the help on this video. Ace Master Shryan. I love it, love it, love it. Hashtag Team Gav doing an awesome job as always. And that is it for the second winter update. Now, we're going to be back a little bit later on with our Sunday live stream. Got any questions about this winter update, then fire away on the live stream. Oh, I've got to say thank you to Best of Sweden, by the way. TVOS, Best of Sweden, for flagging up those long-range AO and LEO charts to me. I've been seeing those knocking around the internet for years and never, never been able to find where they're coming from. But TVOS a couple of weeks ago on our Discord server flagged them up to me. So thank you so much to the Best of Sweden for allowing us to include that, in our winter updates. Right, so, what was I saying? Yes, thanks to hashtag Team Gab. We're going to be live at 5:30. From 5:30 to 6:30, we'll be live this afternoon / this evening with our 10 to 14 days, some long range, and we'll have a chat about this winter update as well. So I shall see you at 5:30, 5:30, if you're around the channel then. But for the epic second winter 2024-25 update from GavsWeatherVids, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to have another one, by the way, next week, of course. Update number 3 revealed next week. But for this one, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon. Bye for now.